Hey folks, so it is 8:30-ish on a, what day is it? Thursday. It's that weird period between like Christmas and New Year's where you're not really sure what day it is of the week, or in terms of like, is today the 30th? I don't know.
28.
Thank you. See, my better half has that stuff figured out. But we're on our way to the Goodwill bins outlet in London, Ontario, which is about a 2-hour drive for us, a little bit more. Yes, she wanted me to mention that the Goodwill bins, for those of you who don't know, is a pay by the pound of the stuff you find. Basically, stuff that gets sent back from the retail stores. And the nice part is it gets peppered in with raw donations, as they call them. And those are thrown into giant bins, and you scramble and pull stuff out, and then you pay by the pound depending on what it is. Clothing has a different price. Electronics and things like that have a different price. I will be looking for collectibles and usually vintage media and things like that. My wife will be looking for anything, but mainly she does clothing, and so yeah, hopefully we'll be able to find some stuff. Probably won't get much in the way of footage from inside, because they do frown upon you filming inside this place, which is totally fair. I will probably try and sneak a few shots in, just to, usually of the carts, or maybe one round of the bins being switched out. And then at the end I will stitch together a separate video, hopefully, because I'm sort of figuring out how to do that, of the finds. So we'll see you guys probably after the find video. Okay, bye.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so back from the bins. I'm gonna go through some of the stuff I got. Not my most successful trip. I think, although I'm not 100% sure, that the streak of finding at least one item worth roughly $100 is still going. I would be a lot more confident if I had kept a certain piece that I originally had in my cart, and then for some reason had a total like senior moment and put it back. Really wish I didn't, but oh well, that's the way these things go. Sometimes I'll talk about that one piece at the end. But yeah, maybe it's over. Not sure. Even still, I got some decent stuff. No home runs. Had one little miss that disappointed me on top of that other one, but we'll go into that first. We'll go into this stuff first. So this is actually really cool. I'm figuring it is a circa 1930s or just right around the 40s era, based largely on these cool little traveling trunk stickers that are on it. It is made in England. There is a patent number on there, so I could look that up, but it's just a little toy trunk, or kids traveling trunk, as you were. Great piece. Now, they did charge me for it by weight, so it came to $9 when it was empty. I used it to carry stuff home in, and I think that's still a screaming deal. I think, easily in the shop, $50 to $60. It's perfect for adults. Trunk, or just kids' toys, little kids' toys decorated trunk. It's all there. It's in pretty good shape for its age, especially when you consider the exterior is really nice. There's no broken bits to it. The paper inside is in good shape. Anybody who's been around long enough doing this knows that when you find the larger versions of these trunks, they're usually ripped all to hell inside, but not in the case in this one's really good. Just a few things at this point, because I didn't have any big finds, or at least what I thought was big finds. I was just grabbing a lot of smalls. These are like sort of alt folk type cassettes. They were indie produced for the most part. This one came up on Discogs at like 20 bucks. These other ones are just interesting. Faith Nolan, Africaville, which is, I think she was an East Coast folk musician, Canadian. So kind of cool. And interestingly enough, they have Braille stickers on them. I don't know why that it got thrown in. Here's another one, Chris Williamson, same kind of thing. This was interesting because it's in there. It's not worth a lot of money, around 10 bucks. But it's the Goodwill crystal Santa hanging ornament. You can see it there, and it's inside there. I'm not going to be able to get it out with this one hand, but it's in good shape. I'm surprised that actually lasted, because usually those things get picked up. Couple of vintage things. This is an earlier Santa. I don't know if this one is actually vintage, but it is glass blown. It's definitely not plastic. So I can't get it out of the baggie. That was in there with a couple of other early Christmas ornaments in there again too. This again, I didn't even know I had in my cart until it was up there. It's just a disc brake, but it's brand new in the package. I don't know. That should have went back. That happens sometimes. Consolidated, who had one of the greatest lyrics of all time ever written about them, by a band called Sloan, and the lyric was, I think Consolidated is okay. It's not the band I hate, it's the fans. And you can apply that to so many different bands. So yeah, anyways, they're a great band. I like them. Fans are okay by me too. These were given away by Tim Hortons. They're like mini sticks. Some of them can get up, but I've got a bunch of them already, so I'll just throw this up and at some point lot them up and throw them up on eBay. Sad little miss was these were showing up in the bins, and I recognize these are Beanie Babies bods, and I was sure that's what they were. And then it was completely confirmed, because one of these guys inside here, and I'm not going to be able to find him now. Oh, there he is. Yeah, had his, sorry, not Beanie Babies, Mighty Beans. Sorry, senior moment again. Actually, I had one of the beans inside. So basically, you would take the beans, and then they would have all these little outfits for them, and they were called bods. And the outfits are actually great. I mean, in terms of like funny monster stuff, I mean, that's a great piece right there. So yeah, I was just fishing these out of the bottom of the bins, sort of knowing what they were, really hoping that at some point the Mighty Beans would show up. And I saw later on in someone's cart they had two. I saw them actually looking at them, so they must have got them before I got there. Two of the sort of folders that all the beans slotted into, and those were completely full. So they got the beans. Beans aren't huge money. Some of them can be. I'll tell you what, check out the Pokemon ones. Just like anything Pokemon, they go for some pretty coin. I'm gonna sell these a lot, roughly, 50 cents to $1 a piece when you throw them together in a lot. Isn't too far out of the stretch. And again, for weight, it wasn't much of anything. Just grab this because damn, I love Jaguars. It's a bit beat up. Paint's gone on it. I think it's a dinky car. Yeah, Lindsay. So, but I love Jaguars. I got a whole collection of them. Probably never be able to afford the original one. Now, this one is kind of interesting, the thing that I held them in. It's hammered copper. It is distinctly old. You can see the box, the wood inside has the right age to it. And it's Kleenex advertising box. You can look underneath the right wears there. That is definitely has some decent age to it. And, that, I haven't even done some research on it, but imagine that's probably going to come up with some pretty good money. I mean, just off the top of my head, I probably wouldn't sell it for less than 40 bucks. And I'm going to go on eBay and look, and I wouldn't be surprised if some was sold for more than that. So that's kind of a really good find. Remember, again, at the bins, all of this is by weight, so these things didn't cost too much. Just a little vintage Tim Hortons travel mug. I sell travel mugs like that throughout the store. Things. Here's another one that's I love Scouts, but it's actually brownies. And again, another one of those sort of plastic mugs. Not worth a great deal, but somebody will pick it up. This is just cool. It's not Christmassy, but it probably was hung as an ornament. And it's a 1984 Ronald McDonald made in Taiwan little just hangy guy. Is that for a technical term? Another vintage Christmas ornament there. This was, again, another vintage Santa Christmas ornament. This one says 1980 on it, but, you know, who knows? Why threw that in the cart? No idea why. I'm not... Nothing wrong with the Bare Naked Ladies, but just not a big fan. Spirit of the West, fantastic band. Sadly, the vocalist and one of the founding members, I believe, had brain cancer and passed away fairly recently. Just picked that up for me more than anything else. This, again, something that got put in the cart and to check out later, and then I didn't actually get around to checking it out. It looks mostly like... oh, what's the name of the... oh, that does look like a transformer right there. So that might be a transformer. But it mostly looks like Kinder Egg toys. Or some Kinder Egg toys. Hey, look, a rock. It's quality investment there, Jay. Sealed copies of the Goonies DVD. I haven't seen the Goonies in ages. It was one of my favorite movies as a kid. And apparently to rent it off the TV now, because we don't have any of the channels that it comes on, is like $8, and I figured this is brand new sealed DVD. We'll just watch it that way. This is awesome. Andy Warhol book, Cats, 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 from when he was starting out. And I don't know if that's somebody done illustrations or part of the book. Probably not. No, it was Mother's Day, 1997. Isn't that nice? But yeah, so it's just a lot of early Warhol Cats illustrations. I kind of an Andy Warhol fan. I have a couple of Stevenographs. But even here now you can see the bottom. A little bit of wear in the paper. Some stain. Nothing terrible with that. That's a great piece. Pretty happy with it. Speaking of great pieces, is this pressed steel. Whoa, what was that? Pressed steel, made in Japan. Tonka-like truck, but it is made in Japan, so it's not Tonka, but it's definitely from the period. The paint on it's incredible. The plastic is okay. It's got a little bit of a crack there on the bottom. Or, you know what, maybe. Yeah, a little bit of crack there. The mechanism for it works on the back pretty well. It's a nice piece. Not huge, probably 1970s, not huge money, but, you know, 10, 15 bucks again. This one actually is Tonka. This one is definitely from the 1970s. Paint's in fairly nice shape. It is missing the back, probably what was the plastic liner for that. I haven't looked up to see if it was a tow truck or anything like that, but still, even as is, like 15 bucks, so I just grabbed it. One of the better finds were these two sculptural teak salt and pepper shakers. Definitely vintage teak on there. Usually I'll probably put these in the store for like 40 bucks, 45. This another one, just absolutely gorgeous young lady there. It's, I forget, what do you call this? Is this like, it's not cross stitch, I know that, but it's some sort of weaving. Probably would have been a home kit. Great sort of Afro-Cuban vibe to it there. And yeah, it's just a gorgeous piece. Vintage for sure, probably 1970s again when these things were. This I don't think fits on this. Well, we'll go into it. So the RC thing, this might be worth, the piece that might be worth probably around $100. I'm not an RC guy, so I don't know, but like I looked up a bunch and like used ones were all, you know, missing parts, not without the box, were all well over 100 US sales on eBay. Sealed ones were $300 to $500. This one clearly is not sealed. I didn't buy it with the intention of reselling it. I thought this might be a fun project for my son and I to get into. And then I realized that it is, you know, beyond my talents. This is a full-blown RC car. It looks to all be there, but again, I'm not 100% sure. The boxes for the various, like the motors and things like that, are all in here. Tires are a little low, but not crusty or anything like that. They are still fairly together. I forget when this one, excuse me, I did look it up, but I've forgotten in the meantime, and it doesn't say anywhere on here. It's made in Korea, so that makes me suspect late 1980s to 1990s. Because it's definitely not, it's post 70s, because that's when most of the stuff was being made in Japan, but this, yeah. And I don't see a date on there for when it was manufactured. But as is, I'm pretty sure to an RC guy who knows what they're doing, that's easily got to be worth $100. So not 100% sure, but I think that keeps the streak alive. And then this guy was sitting there beside it or came out at a later point in the bin. And yeah, picked it up. It's kind of cool. It's got, I don't know if it'll fit on that chassis, depending on if you're European or not. But it's great. I think that's like one of the old Porsche 9, one of the Porsche 9 series for their Le Mans, like 24-hour type racing body on there. So yeah, that was, you know, a fun pickup. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with it. It's too big really for me to want to ship on eBay, so I'll probably just throw it up on Marketplace and see if anybody wants to bite on that one. And then bought this for just me and my son. I loved Calvin and Hobbes growing up. He's like 8, and I think I think these are hilarious. You know, hopefully I did anyways. These I just grabbed. They're 8mm film reels. I get a lot of film projectors through the shop. Mostly people buy them for decoration because some of them look fantastic. And it's always good just to have a set of reels to throw in with that. So again, probably didn't cost me that much. Couple of records, the Occasions and the Electric Indian. More for me than anything else. This is awesome. I love this because this is about like early electronic music, and I think it is from the 1960s. It's an ex libris, or from a library. And where? Yeah, 1972, which was really when this stuff was kicking in. And it makes reference, the great thing about it is it makes reference to so many different great artists in here, like John Cage and guys like that. And there is like a listening list in here that's, you know, leading composers of experimental and electronic music. And that alone, to me, is worth its weight in gold. So, again, if you're not into, like, weirdo electronic music from the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, then this won't interest you at all. Probably not this either, but that's the Maharishi. He was the Beatles guru. Beatles collectors probably want to pick that up. I was a Chili Peppers fan, still am a Chili Peppers fan, so kind of want to give this a read at some point. Heard some pretty terrible stories about Anthony Kiedis. Kind of hoping they're not all true. I'm going to go through this and see what happens. This should have got thrown back, but I'm kind of glad it isn't, because it does have some amazing art into it. There's some of the Picasso sculptures that they have, some Rodin sculptures, and I think there's Giacometti and all kinds of different artists in there as well. So interesting read. Probably just either donate or stick it out for $1. I love the X-Men. It was in there for next to nothing. This, I couldn't figure out what it was. Lots of people were looking at it, and they also couldn't figure out what it was. So I have gone online and realized I was hoping maybe it was like for a record or something. But it was actually the case for a calendar, which is a pretty fancy case, but I think it makes a nice little display piece. You know, probably put it with the rest of my Beatles collection that I had. And then the only record that I got, full 33 RPM, 12-inch long playing album, was this collection of Gregorian chants. I just love throwing that stuff on once in a while in the store just to sort of mix it up a bit. So yeah, that was it. I will now tell you the two disappointments of there. The first one, sorry, probably the first one was the way the bins work. They wheel the stuff, they put it out in front of you. You got to grab it right away or somebody else gets it. They tend to now, with the media bins, leave the DVDs, VHS tapes, and records in bags, which is good because it probably protects them from all the bouncing around and stuff. But the problem is that in the past they would open them up and dump them out, but now they don't because they are super busy back there. They know those guys work hard, and gals. And what tends to happen now is people will just grab the bags and then run away from the bin and then go look at it themselves. Fair game. I mean, it's a little, I don't know, but whatever. It's fair game. That's, I'm not going to criticize anybody for doing that. Be good for them. And a young lady beside me managed to grab a bag that I had noticed on the way through while it was being wheeled by, did have records in it. And we both reached for it at the same time, and she grabbed it, and I wasn't going to get into a tugging war with a lady over a few records. So just let it go, and she went off. But I did keep an eye on her, which I know sounds creepy, but I did, just because I knew what she was going to do, which was go through it. And as it turns out, she really only seemed to be interested in the DVDs inside. And I saw that she was going to dump back the records. So I started making my way over there, and she dumped them right out in front of another guy who happened to be standing there, and he clearly was a record collector as well. And he grabbed the records right away, and I should have walked away because the disappointment of knowing somebody else got something awesome, can haunt you. And sure enough, the first one, I stood there and watched while he went through them, and the first one was, James Last, no problem, throw it, nobody wants that. Next one was B.B. King. I forget the name. It's the blue cover Jail record. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I got multiple copies, and I got a couple of copies in the store, so not a huge loss. The next one hurt. The next one was Muddy Waters at Newport, 1960, and I could tell right away that it was an early, if not first pressing, whether it be U.S. or Canadian, not sure. That hurt. The guy could clearly see that I just had the wind taken out of me by that. And I kindly asked him, I asked him, and he kindly agreed. I said, hey, can I just have a look at that record? I promised to give it right back. And he was like, yeah, sure. And so I pull it out, and he's like, the cover's, a bit beat, but not terrible. I'm like, yeah, I don't have this. I've been looking for it for a while. And so, I'm like, I'd take it in any condition. So congratulations. He's like, I fully expect the record to be beat. And I pulled it out. And it did have like a layer of dust, possibly a slight film of like mildew, because it's clear the record had gotten wet at some point, or damp, not wet. But it was dry, and you could just see it was clean as a whistle underneath all that. So yeah, one of the nicest copies. It was chess. I didn't take the time to check whether it was American because I was just reeling in disappointment. And it was a first pressing for sure, either or American or Canadian, as the black label chess. And so, yeah, that one hurt. And the guy was kind enough to say, if I decide to throw it back, I'll come see you. And that was super nice. He did buy it. Don't blame him at all. Well done. The second one was completely my own fault. I picked up a Luxo industrial, vintage industrial lamp. From the Luxo company. I have sold those in here between $100 and $200 out of the store on a regular basis. It weighed a ton. I even took it up to them, and they said, you know what, $10. And I was like, okay. But I was just tired at that point, and I put it in the cart, and when we were trying to get the cart through, it kept getting jammed on stuff, and I was like, you know what, I'm done with this. And I just put it back. And it was a fully stupid thing to do. But, sometimes I'm not the brightest, knife in the door or drawer or bright in any way, shape, or form. Okay, I'm still tired. So here we go. That was everything. Pretty successful trip overall. It's not, no monstrous home runs, although that Roadrunner is pretty cool. Lots of little things, and generally pretty happy. The wife got like 3 bags, giant, I'm talking monstrous bags. We filled, like the cart was just those big carts that they have at the bins, filled to like over the top, like spilling out everywhere with these giant bags that she had. This cost me in total. There were some other things that were hers that weren't included in this lot, that because she does some hard goods too. I think it was 60. It certainly wasn't over $60. So I think it was around like 61, $62. I don't have the receipt with me. I know I should always do that, but I didn't this time. But yeah, so you know what, in terms of like a day's spend, pretty good. I reckon overall, if I was to sell every single thing in here, there's got to be at least $400 to $500. Maybe that's a bit generous. Let's say 300. $60. Fun day. You never know what you could have found. You could have found, I've pulled $800 turntables out of that place before. So it's always fun. You never know what you're going to find. I highly recommend anybody going there and giving it a try. And yeah, I'm going to leave you at that. If you enjoy this kind of thing, maybe think about subscribing to the channel. You don't have to, but it would be nice if you could. And leave any comments that you might have, like, that's a crazy price, or Jay, you're an idiot. Feel free to leave it in the comments. All right. Hope y'all have a good day. Bye.